Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles. The man to my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist. You know him, you love him from the Twitterverse. Stately Wayne Manor in the ranting room, ensconced in the bowels of the ranting room. Don, you got a lot to say. I was told that you had a lot to say. You told me you had a lot to say.
A lot's happened, man, in the last 24 hours in the wrestling world. And it's been something to watch, the tap dancing fools that we know and love and despise sometimes on the wrestling websites are dancing the foolish dance that they do. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's sure that they know why Jericho stayed at AEW, and then always end it with the caveat of, don't know for sure, but this is what I've heard or what I've been told. In other words, it's all conjecture. It's rumor and conjecture. So we can play this game. Sure. You and I can both play this game from what we put together, from everything we've read, because I'm tired of the nonsense. By the way, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. Did get my new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. Deal with life.
All right now.
Chris Jericho came out last night, and we're gonna talk about it now. We figured we should kick this show off. There's no reason to beat around the bush about it, right? This is what everybody wants to know about. And it was a weird way in which they opened Dynamite last night. Tony Schiavone standing in the ring, and pyro went off, and then he was like, I don't know what that's about. And then it went off again, and the next thing you know, you've got Chris Jericho's Judas music playing.
A smooth start.
I don't know if this was supposed to be part of a April Fool's joke or what it was supposed to be, but it didn't get over. Whatever this was supposed to do, if it was supposed to get Jericho over, if it was supposed to confuse the fans, whatever it was supposed to do, all it did was make it look like a bad clown show. None of that happened, in my opinion. It didn't look good. It didn't look like it was ready to go. It looked like they fell all over their own pricks trying to make this look like something it wasn't. It really did to me. It was a dick-falling effort. I'll say it that way. So Jericho comes out, and the crowd's singing his song because they want to sing the song. We all see it a million times, no matter what wrestler it is. If you got a good, catchy song, they're going to sing your song.
They like the song.
They like the song.
It's a catchy tune, Don. Catchy tune.
Jericho, what in the hell you got going on over there?
I just knocked over my cell phone, and I got drinks, I got cigars, I got beers. What are you going to do, Don?
Jericho gets in the ring and starts walking around. And I'm going to say this now. They were in a building that holds 16,000 people. They distributed about 4,500 tickets.
That's good.
We've said it a million times. It is. We've said it a million times.
Yeah.
If you're in a bigger crowd, if you're in a bigger room and you got a small crowd like that compared to the building, it's going to sound very weak. It's not going to, but you can mic the crowd so it sounds better. I don't know what happened, but this crowd was not in love with this return. They weren't falling over themselves. Babies weren't getting thrown in the air. Women weren't hugging and kissing their men folk. None of that happened, and it got so uneasily quiet, in my opinion, Jericho had to throw his arms up like, adore me. I came home.
Come on. Come on. He kept saying, throwing his hands in the air.
It's me.
I'm here.
Me.
If he wasn't in Winnipeg, he would have came out the crickets, I think. They would have went, because they ran him out of town, basically. Last time he was in the ring, weren't they chanting, please retire?
They were indeed chanting that.
Yes, they were. All that learning tree bullshit with Hot Low Plains Drifter and Big Bitter Bill. And it was gassed out. Any match he was wrestling, any trios match, any tag team match he was wrestling, he was gassed out in 5 minutes. And it was horrible. Just horrible. He looked like a shadow of his former self. He looked like a slightly younger Ozzy Osbourne trying to navigate his way through the ring.
Iggy
Not
Pop, if you will.
Iggy Pop. Have you seen Iggy Pop lately?
I have seen Iggy Pop.
Hoofa!
There comes a point, pal, where you just got to stop taking the shirt off. You just got to stop.
You got to keep the shirt on. Oh my God in heaven. He looks like a melted candle. He looks like somebody took a Barbie doll and put it in a microwave. That's what he looks like. Horrible.
So back on the Chris Jericho train here.
Do we have to?
I've seen a million theories on why he came back to AEW. And when he got on the microphone, all he said is, "I'm home." And then they fired up his music in and he sauntered off. He fucked off. There he goes. Time to go.
He just
all.
He just fucked right off. Just got to
He
say
did.
it like that. Your famous way
He
you
did.
say it. He just fucked right off.
And I'm sitting there watching this thing go
Yes.
down. And all I can think is, if I didn't want him in WWE. I'm not saying that I did. I'm not saying that I did.
Okay.
But I gotta imagine him going to the WWE would have at least given him another fresh look to come back into wrestling. Because like you just talked about, the last we saw of him, they were chanting, "Please retire," while you're in the ring.
Right.
They didn't want you there. And the usual suspects, the AEW sickos that have praised him, have been like, "Oh, we don't want him back. We're glad he's going to WWE." Suddenly last night, all of their accounts went crazy.
Crazy.
The GOAT has returned. I'm so glad he's back. And they all got called out for their hypocrisy, because that's what they are. If there's one thing I've maintained this whole time, I have not wanted him back in WWE. I have always maintained I don't want him on my wrestling channels anymore. I'm done with the Jericho situation. So he came back, and all of the people start making their own thought processes, and here's why he came back to AEW. And they always end it with, "That's what I think anyway. I don't know anything for sure." And I think I know why. I've got my own little ideology, if you will, on why he came to AEW.
So do I.
I think he went to WWE, and he wanted a grand retirement tour like John Cena got. He wanted a big send-off like AJ Styles got. He wanted that hoopla. And they said, best we can do is a WWE Hall of Fame segment, and you get a match with Gunther where he retires you at Mania. That's what we got for you. That's what I think was offered. He said no, he wanted a big tour. He still wants to be relevant in wrestling and have matches and do all those things. He still, I believe, wants to be a relevant figure in the wrestling world.
I personally don't think he wanted to retire. I think he wanted a Hall of Fame nod. I think he wanted to wrestle. I think he still thinks he can go. He's posting those gym pictures on Instagram and on Twitter of how great he looks. He doesn't look that good, but he's lost a lot of weight. Could be just, went in for a touch-up somewhere in some Switzerland plastic surgery clinic.
Would you like the knife, Chrissy?
We do get to tighten you up a little bit. Twist the
over
bolt.
here.
Yes, we twist the bolts in the back. But the money's an issue. Marco Mattacoli for $4.99. Thank you for coming back to the family, Marco. We missed you. Now that Jericho's back, the over-under is set at 12.5 NDA signed by talent in AEW. I think
He's probably already got one for why he signed to come back.
Probably, yeah, no doubt.
Probably.
Absolutely. There's several NDAs in waiting.
That's my theory. That's my theory.
I think they were going to give NDA under Thekla, and he's second now.
I think that's what they're going to do, is they're going to say, we're going to give you the Gunther match. He's on a retirement tour right now. You'll fit right in. This will help you out. You'll be able to get over a younger talent. This is going to be great. He said, that's not going to work for me, brother. I'm not doing that. Also, I don't like the money.
The money's a big part of it.
Yeah.
The money's a big part of it. But, who would he put over? Who would be so offensive to put over? We want you to put over Trick Williams. I don't know about that. I could see somebody putting over Trick Williams, somebody of Jericho's caliber. That would fit right in. I could have seen him in the Vision as a co-leader with Heyman. I could have seen that. Him giving pep talks to Austin Theory and Logan Paul and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Those guys, he could be right in there with the Vision. If for some reason Heyman can't make a show, he could be there to futz around and be the shit-eating, grinning heel.
So again, I do believe that they offered him a match. Here it is, one time only. You're going to do this, and then we'll go from there. And he said, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Right. Mark K with a 7731 after his name with a $2 spot. Don has Jericho problem. Call your proctologist ASAP, or see your proctologist ASAP.
Oh, yes.
BS.
Back in the news.
The infamous tweet back to Don Wayne when he said, I don't think Chris Jericho will ever have a meaningful match, another meaningful match in the WWE. Hey, Don, go fuck your ass.
Where have I been wrong so far in that statement?
You have not been wrong. You have not been wrong. He had visions of, he's 35 years old and he's going to storm the WWE again,
right.
break the walls down. I'm the cornerstone, all that bullshit. He's going to come out with a ponytail and be a rock star, maybe have Fozzy play at WrestleMania or whatever that Kiss covers band he's in. Also, all that bullshit. And they said, we're not going to do that. No, it's a bad look. They think that, and this is the funny thing, the neckbeards and the talent in the wrestling business who are not signed to WWE, do they think that the people in WWE, the higher-ups, don't watch AEW? They don't watch MLW?
We all know they do. They do.
Of course they do.
Of course.
Of course they do. They saw how bad Jericho looked. And
how do you think Danhausen got to where he is right now? They're like, that we can make that fucking guy work.
Right.
Not my cup of tea, but by God, if he's not over.
Well, he is best friends with Phil Brooks, so that's got
I don't care about any of that. There. He's gotten over on his own deal. He's not my cup of tea, but everybody else loves him.
Can I read this fucking super chat, please?
Go ahead, because this is up your alley.
Yes. The Stun, SCSA, Stone Cold Steve Austin with a Canadian 5 spot. I would have been down for Jericho Gunther. I would have loved to see Gunther chop those wrinkles of Jericho's chest straight. He would have broken that man's sternum with one shot. I guarantee.
And I agree 100% with what you're saying, Stun SCA. I believe that 100%. I think if he was going to go to the WWE, this would have been the right move. You have this one match. You build a retirement match out of this thing. You start it back at the Royal Rumble. You could have started building it then. And you could have something now. Instead, I don't know what you do with him in AEW. He's battled everybody that's in there that's still a star. What are you going to do? You put him with 8-Ball? Is that what you're going to do with him? Put 8-Ball over?
Probably, yeah. He'd put 8-Ball
Thank you very much.
8-Ball's getting a big push, pal. 8-Ball Mike Bailey's getting
a big push.
What is behind that push later? We'll talk about that later, but we're on the Jericho
track right now. I can't wait to talk about that shit.
I could see if Kevin Owens would have been back in WWE, they could have just paired those guys back up again and try to rekindle that magic that they had. But unfortunately, the ship has sailed now for WWE. Maybe about 10 years from now, a 64-year-old Chris Jericho will return and be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I just don't think that honestly, I know he got more money with where he's at. So good for him on that regard. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing.
Sure.
I just, when push came to shove, and this is just my thought, WWE was like, have you not noticed the guys we're calling up? We just called up like 10 new athletes in the past year on our brands. We're very much headed in a different direction right now. The old guard is on its way out.
NXT has a stand and deliver free pay-per-view, by the way, on YouTube this weekend. I forgot what time it comes on. I think 7. It's free on YouTube. They're not on Peacock anymore, the NXT PLEs. But they've gutted NXT. They have gutted. On the men's side, the women's department, the women's department's well-stocked in NXT. The men's side is just wrecked. Bunch of faceless guys. They're all interchangeable except for Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. And this kid, what's this kid's name? Dylan Myron Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne, the deaf Randy Orton. That guy. You ought to see it, Don. You ought to just watch one episode of it, and you'll say, who are these guys? Why do they all look alike? They're all the same size. What is going on here? They're all the same moveset. I don't understand it. The women, they've got no problem with the women. They're all individuals. But that's a feeling out process.
Hold that thought for later, because I got a little piece of news here that we've talked about this several times for the past several months on this show.
Yes.
So that was sort of my thoughts on Chris Jericho. He came back. I didn't feel like it was an overwhelming "we love you" moment. It didn't feel like the fans were really fully behind this. Right. They liked to sing the song. They cheered a little bit. The pyro thing was just, I don't know what the hell that was, by the way. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Why did you need Tony Schiavone out there? Why couldn't they just had the music start for Judas? Boom, 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 boom with the pyro. He walks out and does his thing. You did not need Tony Schiavone on your TV at all.
By the way, shout out to AEW Neckbeards, who is, I believe, from Winnipeg, said he was all over their TV yesterday. He was like, he's going to be here tonight. Guaranteed, book it. I'm calling it now. You never heard a mumble out of Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter or Dave Meltzer on Twitter reporting any of this. But Sapp will tell you, well, we had it in our online boards. Okay, but you didn't put it on social media. That's the point.
Well, Meltzer
Tony told you not to.
Meltzer would say, well, I hear Jericho's in Winnipeg for, he's doing some press for blah, 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 whatever project he's got.
He was on the fucking television morning show. He wasn't just in town doing press.
Right. Well, that's called doing press when you're on the morning show.
Anyway, that was my thoughts on Chris Jericho.
It's a Winnipeg Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Winnipeg Wednesday.
That was my thoughts on that. I thought we should get that out of the way first because that was the biggest news. It's the elephant in the room. I hope he does well. I'm not holding my breath. I'll say that much.
No.
But you just said something that Eric Bischoff touched on this past week on his show.
Really?
He said there's a lot of sameness going on in the WWE right now with their creative. Nothing feels different. Everything feels the same except for a couple of touch points. You and I have been saying this for months. There's very little character delineation from all these people. The ones that stand out are the same ones we talk about every week. Gunther stands out. Roman Reigns, of course. Mm-hmm. Cody stands out, even though he's a huge, cheesy baby face that a lot of people are getting tired of. Orton stands out. A couple of the women do. And I'm starting to run out after that. It's real fast, and it runs off the cliff real fast.
It does. It does. Well, I mean, on the main roster, there's some different individuals there, okay, on the main roster. But if you go down into NXT, a lot of the individuals in NXT all look the same. They act the same. They've got they're Obafemi size, but they're just angry, throwing people around. And it's a lot of factions at NXT, and too many factions, too many gangs.
Friday Night SmackDown was atrocious this past week. That was a bad show. It was and Tiffany Stratton. I don't know what was going on in that match. If you missed that, I'm just going to touch on the two moves. The Swanton dive where she landed full ass to tits on that girl. Crushed her. The ref should have counted 3 and didn't, and for some reason stopped it. Why is Bad Bunny having matches on this show? Stop. I mean, not Bad Bunny, but shit. The fat rapper guy that lost all that weight.
Jelly Roll. That was supposed to be a WrestleMania match, I heard. That's what the rumor was.
I thought he was still going to have one.
They're building to a WrestleMania tag team match. Jelly Roll and a partner of his choice against Kit Wilson and a partner of his choice.
Thank you, Mark. It is now known as Jelly Bunny.
It's Jelly Bunny, yes. or bad roll. I got a hold of a bad roll. I got a hold of a bad roll. I ate a Jelly Bunny, and then I got a hold of a bad roll. That was just terrible. Out of my mind.
I don't understand what they're doing on Friday. Friday Night SmackDown a week ago was okay, and then it was like, oh yeah, let's just run right into the house, run headlong into the house door.
It could have been a good hour and a half show instead of a 3-hour show. You just edited out.
The 3-hour show is what's killing it. It's killing
it. You know what's killing the product right now? Too many of these pull apart brawls.
They did have a bunch of those. Yes, they had a bunch of those on Friday night.
God,
they had a lot of dusty finishes.
When there's no build for weeks, for months towards WrestleMania, and now you're in crunch time, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, a week and a half before, and then you got all these pull apart brawls to try to drum up drama between the participants of matches that just got announced. It's insane. Jim Crockett is rolling over in his grave. Dusty Rhodes, baby, is rolling over in his grave.
Dusty Rhodes, let me tell you something, baby, about the American Dream. The American Dream says that is not a dusty finish. I know one when I see one, baby. That won't it.
Later on the show, Don, I've got a blast from the past from Dusty Rhodes, which we can play on the air.
Oh, good.
Yes, it's not copyrighted.
Can't wait to see myself, baby, in my prime, baby, in my prime.
Yeah, the hair is it's on point. The hair is on point.
Still, the funniest story I've ever heard was the guy that I work with, lived in Florida. He met Dusty in like 1984. Mm-hmm. They were in the Foot Locker, and he was putting on some tennis shoes. And my friend said, "Hey, Dusty, you going to go for some running?" "Only from the law, baby. Only from the law." Great story, man.
That son of a bitch was quick on his feet, I tell you.
He was. So I want to talk about that real quick, and I want to talk about something else that got my eye, which, real quick, though, back to the Jericho segment just real quick. I talked to a younger guy at work about Jericho, and he was like, oh, yeah, I love Jericho. I grew up with Jericho. And it occurred to me, in Jericho's mind, he still thinks the fan base he left behind in WWE will immediately recognize him and be like, oh, God, it's Jericho. I can't wait. Jericho stopped wrestling full-time in like 2012 or 13. And then he came back for one last little stint in 2018. And then he left and went to Japan and signed with AEW the next year. So this guy remembers him very well. I asked my son, I said, do you remember Chris Jericho? Because my son's 13 years old. He said, I remember him a little bit. I just know him from AEW, and I don't like him. He doesn't impress me. So that's the other part, is that Jericho in his mind thinks everyone will immediately... The fans have moved on and moved out and moved up.
Look,
I'm just saying there's a whole new set of fans now. That's all I'm saying.
The guy's a good promo. He's quick on his feet with an ad lib. Not all of his ideas land. He needs a filter for his ideas. Like Vince McMahon was a filter for everybody's ideas.
Yes. The list was the last truly great idea he had.
Yes. He's not a stupid man. He's a very, very sharp man, a sly individual. But physically, he just can't do it anymore. He's done. Maybe you could bring him back for one match in the ring, and it's going to look awful. And don't ask him to do one next week. He has to be on the Adam Copeland plan. I'll do a match every 3 months.
Which, by the way, I'm going to give credit where it's due when we get to that segment in the show. I'm going to give credit where it's due on that. We talked about Danhausen a little while ago, and I want to go back to that. Because Danhausen got praised today by an actual entertainer, and I mean big praise.
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien said he met him 8 years ago
on his podcast.
And said he was talking to him, and they had a really nice conversation, and said he was driving 12 hours a weekend just to try to merge his dream of what this character could be. He wanted to be a wrestler, and he said, Danhausen told me that he had been grinding away for the past 8 years, driving 12 hours every weekend just to be able to get up in front of people and wrestle, O'Brien said. And this is a guy who just applied an incredible work ethic to his position, and I was so impressed with this fellow. This is proof that you can marry hard work with your passion and go places.
Yes. It was, he's doing it's a cross between, how can I describe this? Conan O'Brien and Pee Wee Herman. Filtered through a late-night horror movie host. Yeah. That's what the character of Danhausen is.
Yes. It's over, and I'm not saying that it's not, but he's being treated like he should, like the joke moment of the show, and I'm glad they're not treating him like an actual wrestler, that they're not going to put him out there to have actual serious matches. They did it with a couple of guys. Sure. Was it Carlito? What the hell was his name? Not Carlito, but
Santino?
Santino.
Yes.
Santino became a really good comedy act for that show. I enjoyed a lot of what he does. He was hilarious.
But who does Danhausen wrestle in the WWE, realistically?
Yeah, you can't.
Tozawa? You can't.
That's about it, yeah. It would have to be a guy like that at a dark match to get the fans laughing. That's all I'm saying. But I'll say this much. His work with I Show Speed the last couple of weeks it's gotten to me, man. I really have enjoyed it.
Clever stuff.
It really is. And I Show Speed, who, if you don't know who he is, he's done it. He did the spot in the Royal Rumble last year where he got the shit clotheslined out of him. He's been around the company a little while. He was on Raw this week. He was doing his show this week on his live stream, and LA Knight just comes wandering in. Like, what are you doing joining Logan Paul, you asshole? Right. What are you doing? I thought that was great.
For Danhausen, if I was Danhausen, there are so many public domain horror movies, black and white horror movies from the 50s, from the 30s, and the 40s that are available on YouTube that you could just download, whatever you want. Denisha Lane, 1142. Thank you, Denisha. $49.99. God bless you. God bless you, my lovely. Denisha. God bless you. Hey, my two favorite men. I hope you're doing well today. I'm glad Chris Jericho stayed AEW, not WWE. Raw was a good show. It was a good show. Don, AEW was just a trash show. We'll get into that a little bit. We got a lot to say. We're going to get into that. A lot to say.
I was pulling them in the boat left, right, and center. It was glorious.
But anyway, with Danhausen, He could just go ahead and take those public domain movies and do a channel where he just, as a horror host, with a green screen behind him, doing his gimmick, introducing these movies, doing pieces of business in between, like Sven Gulli does. And I guarantee he would have 1 million views.
Right.
Maybe over 1 million views.
Yeah.
WWE would put it in the WWE YouTube channel. I guarantee they would.
Oh, yeah, for sure. By the way, thank you all for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that like and subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Super chat's open. You got something to say.
Hit the bell.
I can't wait to talk about I can't wait to talk about Raw. We got to talk about that too. But Drew McIntyre.
Right, hang on a second.
Hold on a second.
She dropped in $50 for us, and I'm going to ask her a question, and we're going to put her response up on the screen.
Okay,
Denisha, what is it about Chris Jericho that turns you off? I mean, do you think he's got a career in the ring wrestling in AEW? You think he's just going to be a manager at AEW? You think this is just a one-time shot like a Ronda Rousey thing? What do you think is going on here?
I think
people are saying he re-signed.
Yeah, he did.
He could still be under. He could still be under a contract because his original contract because he missed so much time touring Europe, touring America as Fozzy. Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury. Say that 10 times fast. For $5, I want R-Truth to meet Danhausen and think he's Papa's buddy. That's comedy gold. Think he's Papa's
That would
Shago.
be great.
Have they met yet?
I don't think they have.
They haven't met yet. It's got to happen.
When they cross paths, it's going to have to be hilarious.
Buddy, it's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's going to happen at
so?
WrestleMania. Of course. Cena, I heard, wants to work with Danhausen at WrestleMania.
I'm glad you brought that up because John Cena is going to be the host for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And they made this decision back in February. John Cena announced it on his social media this past week.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, if you listen to the talking heads, they just made this decision recently and then went back and said, oh, actually, no, turns out they made it in February. This was decided months ago.
Right.
My guess is they might have even talked to Jericho about this spot. He said no, so this is where we are now.
Exactly. There's something I want to show you. We talked, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, about John Cena, where I told you I saw a video of John Cena where he could barely move. He could barely get out of a limo. And I'm going to play that for you right now.
Thank you again very much.
Hang on a minute.
Appreciate it.
I got to turn this music down because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Yeah, let me mute this. There's all kinds of like techno. It's like 80s music playing up here. Let me share my screen.
Denisha says she just can't stand Jericho. He takes the money from TK like hot buttons, so he can't go to WWE. I agree.
Yeah.
He wants to get paid. He's getting paid.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Here is John Cena getting out of a couple luxury cars. Here he is at the airport.
No, man, that's a movie. What are you talking about?
That's not a movie.
Yes, it is. I saw that movie.
Come on now. He's all stumped. He's all hunched over. Look at
Bro,
him here. Look at him here.
This was not a movie. The one of him in the airport is a movie. I've seen it.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
That part right there
That's
is a movie.
movie.
Please don't be the trash bag. I don't know, man. He's
Dude,
jacked
that
up.
movie with him in it was great. Trust me. I think a lot of that was just him in movies. I don't think any of that's real. I think a lot of that's movies.
No, I disagree.
You can disagree all you want, but I will bet you my salary that one scene was from a movie because I watched it with my family. He was hilarious.
He's even said that the reason why he retired is because his body's breaking down. He can't do it anymore.
Oh, I know that. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that movie has the guy from he's been in everything. Wild Hogs, the skinny guy. He did that show on Showtime forever. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was in Boogie Nights. He's the guy that killed himself in Boogie Nights. Why can't I think of his name? Help me out here, chat. He's been in everything.
Is he hunched over?
No, he's a skinny guy that was an alcoholic. He has this hilarious moment in that movie with John Cena where Cena's like, you're a massive air dicker. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, every time you're on TV, you're doing this. Like, I got to get this guy here and this guy here. I'm telling you, it's a movie.
I've never heard of that before.
Calls him a William H. Macy. There it is. Thank you.
William H. Macy.
He gets told he's a massive air dicker in that movie. It's hilarious. John Cena played a funny part.
I hear you.
Drew McIntyre says he will never make fun of CM Punk after he lost his cat Chaz. So,
Poor Chaz.
yep, that's a hard thing to lose a pet, man. Until you go through it, you don't understand. Braun Breaker has two Chaz. Braun Breaker has been cleared to wrestle.
He was at Raw.
But they do not want to rush him into a WrestleMania angle with Seth Rollins. They're going to let this build, and they're using Gunther in the interim, and I'll be curious to see how this builds. I'm not sure where this is going.
I'd be curious to see if he's welcomed with open arms into the Vision.
It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Why not? Can you picture Heyman walking Gunther to the ring?
Yes, I can. That's a vision I have for the future. I'd love to see it.
That's no pun intended.
No, but I'm looking forward to that. We're going to talk about Raw real quick because Raw was absolutely a banger this week.
It was great.
I even like most of the matches. Cody Rhodes kicked off Raw with Stephanie McMahon coming down the ring. And the Dirt Sheet writers were furious that they didn't know Stephanie McMahon was in the building. Have you read their little tantrums this week?
Yes, they were all upset.
Dude, they were so pissed off that they could not spoil this return. Mm-hmm. And the crowd went nuts for it. They went absolutely crazy. What did you think of this segment?
I thought it would have had more weight if a guy like Arn Anderson came out, who was Cody Rhodes' mentor for years in WWE and AEW. If Arn Anderson would have came out and gave us another promo like, if I'm filling up at the gas station and they try to take my keys, I'm going to pull out the Glock.
Take it easy, Mr. Nobody. Appreciate you can come in, pal. So, yeah, I watched this, and he said, "You're not your father," or something along those lines, and she slapped the shit out of him.
She did.
And I thought it was great.
She did. What's going to happen? What's going on with this? What is going on with this?
I'm not sure where this is going because she does have a history.
I want to know what's going on with her, why she linked up in this, and who's Randy talking to. I got
That's the real question is who is Randy talking to?
I got a scoop on that.
That's the real question is who is he talking to?
It was a guy from the past that they offered a deal to, and he turned the money down. It wasn't enough money for him to come back. And I'm thinking it was Ric Flair.
Nah, can't see it.
What?
Can't see that.
You can't see?
No shot. Now. No shot.
Come on now.
No shot.
You don't think it would be Ric Flair?
Not shot.
Do you think it's DiBiase Jr.?
I do think it's DiBiase Jr.
Come on, man. Come on.
I do.
Jesus God almighty.
He just got out of court. He's a real heel because he won.
Go. He's ready to go.
Everybody can pay me money. I'm Teflon Don over here.
We're going to take that belt from you, Cody Rhodes, like I took all that welfare money.
From Mississippi idiots.
Inbred Mississippi idiots.
Took it all from them. Anyway, the Vision defeated the Usos to get the titles, so that was different. Didn't hate it. I Show Speed left with them like we talked about a little bit earlier.
That was a shock because that was supposed to be a WrestleMania
It was a
match.
shock. It was a shock.
That was supposed to be a WrestleMania match. Now they're talking I Show Speed and the Vision, those two guys, Paul and Theory, versus the Usos and LA Knight. That's going to be the match
and I like
WrestleMania.
That could be fun.
That could be good.
We also got Liv Morgan promo.
Puta.
She called her
a puta. A lot of people say, "Oh, she called her a bitch. She called her a bitch." No, she didn't call her a bitch.
No, she did not.
She called her a whore. A whore.
Well, it can be interpreted a lot of different things. But anyway, Liv Morgan called her out. Vakir hit the ring. Beat the shit out of her. And then Rodro got in the ring and took her out. So that was fun.
Who?
Women's Tag Championship match. I couldn't wait to fast forward this. I'm not watching this.
It's going to be a four-way, Don.
I know it is. And not the kind you like. But it's going to be a four-way.
No.
Brock Lesnar promo. And this is what I about came out of my seat. Because Paul Heyman is talking shit. And he's making a million excuses for Brock Lesnar on why he lost.
Yes.
Or why he got beat up.
Why he got beat
up. Out comes Obafemi.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are we going to get him to that up again? But they didn't. Triple H kept them apart, and I thought this was exactly what they needed. Oba's gotten over a couple times. Don't let him touch again until Mania. Build it from here.
Yes.
What did you think of that moment?
I thought it was great. It just makes you things like that are built up the right way. They're building a new star, a superstar. There's a superstar who is willing to work, an older guy willing to work with an up-and-comer because he sees there's money there to be made. And what he's doing is making that guy look good. It's an apple that fell on the ground at the fruit stand, and he's shining it up for all it's worth to make it look top-notch. That's what's going on with that. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Penta battled Kingston for the IC title. And
didn't like this at all.
I didn't like it. It wasn't my favorite. It really was. Yeah. I think Kofi's sort of getting to the end of his run, too, where the Kofi of yesteryear is not the Kofi we have today. He can still do some moves, but you can tell the reactions aren't quite as crisp. He doesn't move quite as easily as he used to as a young man.
Well,
but the exciting part about this,
he's working as a heel.
The exciting part about this,
yes,
Penta said at his WrestleMania match, he wants it to be a ladder match, and he's got an open challenge. I think we're about to see like a 5-way ladder match. I'm okay with this.
It's a 6-way.
I'm okay with this.
They've already got
it's going to be a 6-way?
The participants have already been named.
Oh, I didn't see. Really?
It's somewhere online, the promo art for it, yes.
Okay.
Dragon Lee, Penta.
Dragon Lee's nuts.
Dragon Lee's nuts. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes.
I'm good with this.
6 guys in a ladder match is going to be fantastic.
Paul Heyman starts cutting a promo where Seth Rollins comes out and kicks the shit out of him again. Before Gunther gets a hold of him and puts him out with a sleeper hold. You know, there's people out here that were discussing Paul Heyman might not be at Mania. Are you out of your fucking minds? He is absolutely going to be at Mania. He's going to be involved in like 3 different angles now.
That's $1 million payday for Paul Heyman. Of course he's going to be there.
Paul Heyman's going to miss out on a money match. You don't smoke too much crack cocaine.
He got hurt. Seth Rollins hurt him. I don't know what we're going to do. Mom, can you throw some Cheetos down the steps?
Io Sky versus Gonzo.
I thought she broke her neck.
Ooh, boy.
Did you see that dive? I thought she broke her freaking neck.
She went for a dive. By the way, there was a plethora of people diving out of the ring this weekend, hitting a rope, tripping and falling straight on their head. And it wasn't just AEW. It happened in WWE too. Don't do shit you don't know how to do, baby.
That's right.
You got to stop, because when Io Sky came out of the ring, I mean, straight down to her head, straight to her dome.
Kairi Sane had the look of, oh my gosh, she killed herself.
She did.
That's the look she had on her face.
Yes, it was.
Supposedly it's going to be a three-way match at WrestleMania. Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka. That's how they're wasting. That's how they're wasting Io Sky. Don't care about Io. She's overrated, and I've said it a million times. She's overrated. You're nuts. You can't cut a promo, of course, but you're crazy.
CM Punk and Roman Reigns actually got physical, and that's what this needed, because the last several weeks they've been talking trash. They finally got into it. CM Punk left him laying, which usually means you know where this is going to go now.
Yeah.
Yep. Roman Reigns is going to get the last word. Mm-hmm. So that was Raw. And there was one other point in contention I wanted to talk about. You and I have been looking at the ratings in depth like crazy the past several days.
Yes.
We were looking at what has changed in the metric, right? And I did the math on this. About a month ago exactly, WWE had a 0.8 rating or 0.79. And AEW had a 0.4 exactly rating. But in every metric, when you looked across the board, AEW was half of all their metrics as far as viewership. Actual rating on the viewership numbers, that is. Mm-hmm. Like the 18 to 49 demo, the 18 to 35 demo, the adult males 18 to 49. They were less than half on several of them. So you tell me, if you're half of what their total rating is, and you're less than half of all the demos across the board, shouldn't WWE SmackDown be well ahead of them by more than double, if that's the case? If you're telling me they're more than double across the board in all these statistics, why are they barely doubling them in total viewership and that P2P shit?
They've changed all this around. when
They
they get
have.
the big panel, little panel, whatever, medium-sized panel. I don't know what's going on. They change it all around. Back in the day, a .8 would mean 800,000 viewers.
Yes.
Because a point and anything to the right side of the decimal point would mean sub 1 million.
Well, I think
Now-
that's how many households it was, and then they would multiply it by a factor of like 2.25 because that's the average number of people in the home.
Yes, 2 adults and a quarter of a child,
Yeah,
basically.
something like that.
Hang on a second. Hello, Johnny Bottles. Roger Dodger? Roadrunner he's with you too? Oh, okay. Yeah, Don's talking bad about AEW again. All right. Shit on us in the comments after the show. Okay, thank you.
Why?
I just had to. He's all pissed off. Go ahead.
But I find it weird that in that correlation, the same correlation isn't going to the end product. So according to Nielsen now,
Yeah.
there are more P2P people watching AEW than there are SmackDown and Raw shows. The math ain't mathin'.
If you look at households for AEW Dynamite for the week of March 23rd, it was 516,000 households were watching. If you look at the P+2 number, 730,000 people were watching. So
That makes no sense.
is it 516,000? Is it 730,000?
It feels like that number is just made the fuck up, to be quite honest. It really feels that way.
The number, like we talked about, the number, like you just said, the number's based on 2 people and a quarter of a child or half of a child are watching the show or heard about it. Listen, I went to all these different, like I told you today, I went to all these different websites where the definition of the P+2 ratings point is. That is speculated
People
upon.
2 age or older that know about the show watch the
Know
show.
about the show, watch the show. They're in the same room while the show's on. There's a TV on the other side of the house that's watching the show. That's basically how they figure it out.
So why are there more in that area for AEW than there are for WWE when they're doubling them in all the other corresponding areas?
Someone said when all this changed over to the big panel that sports and wrestling ratings lumped together, of course, are going to get
bitch.
They're going to get a big ejection.
Oh,
Okay?
they're definitely are.
Yes. Mark 7731, Scott Steiner rating, Scott Steiner math. This spells trouble for you. That's sacrifice.
Oh, I've been trying to figure it out. I was looking at it all day. The actual skewer that they have is between 0.73 and 0.77, and it was never a consistent skewer on how they averaged it. I was like, okay, you're just throwing shit at the wall. Just tell me how many households tuned in, and I'll go from there. 450,000 households tuned in to AEW last week, and 780,000 houses tuned into SmackDown, or 750 or something like that.
You knew it was all horse shit when a show like Collision that was getting sub 300,000 views. All of a sudden, they're doing 476,000 views.
In the middle of March Madness. In the fucking middle of March Madness.
On a Saturday. Collision.
Are you smoking crack?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's something else, pal. I'll say that much.
It really is. It's ridiculous the way it's pumped up like that. And I mean, what can you say about it? Other than what we just said. It's Brandon Thurston from Wrestlenomics is the guy who pulls up these ratings, and they're parroted by all the websites. Meltzer, Fightful, and people who have a Meltzer and Fightful subscriptions. All the other like Wrestling News, Wrestling Alleyway, WrestlePalooza, Cultaholic, Wrestle Talk. All these guys have Wrestling Observer or Fightful subscriptions, and they parrot all the news and shit and rewrite it and put it up there on the internet for you to see. And that's where they get the ratings from, Wrestlenomics. Well, and he's picking the bigger number.
Yes, he is. But you and I actually went in and looked at it, and it's a 0.45 household share. 450,000 households tuned in. So you're telling me that in half of these households, there were at least 2.25 people watching versus the other shows? What the? Come on, dude. That shit don't make any sense.
You can't tell me that two grown adults are watching AEW Dynamite while their child's in the basement, Donald ducking it around the basement, eating Hot Pockets and drinking Mountain Dew, watching AEW Dynamite. They're all watching AEW Dynamite, but they won't watch it all in the same room. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, that's what I'm being told. So, whatever. Anyway, in other news,
Yes.
Willie Mack had a tweet this week that got our attention.
Willie
Mack.
Willie Mack.
Willie Mack is
I
famous.
can't remember the last time I saw Willie Mack.
Willie Mack can't remember the last time he saw him on TV.
Who's Willie Mack?
Don't know. Wrestler at AEW.
Yes.
Willie Mack said he sounded like Steve Harvey when he was talking to third person about getting fired. Willie Mack about to lose his job. Willie Mack about to be homeless. That's what he sounded like on Twitter.
He was going full Dusty Rhodes on Twitter.
He was losing his shit. He was like, Willie Mack has got to get a wrestling job.
And Willie Mack ran his mouth on Twitter, and now he's been moved to the 0 tier for salary in AEW, which means you're paid per appearance.
Which means he ain't getting dick.
He's not getting shit. Feel sorry for the guy, but if you just look at past practices in AEW, you know that you're going to get. You're just going to sit on your ass. You're not going to get out of work. If Willie Mack is a very, very large African American man, okay, you don't see many of those on AEW television. Just throwing that out there to you, pal. No MVP, no Shelton Benjamin, no Bobby Lashley. The only one you see is Swerve Strickland. And occasionally you see Shane Taylor. Don't tell me Low Plains Drifter. He's only half of a African-American man.
He's a full African-American. He's just a shorter variety.
He's fun-sized. Yes.
Bring back the nipple pants. It was fun for everybody.
Fun for everybody. Bring him back. Is he on TV anymore?
I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen Bill either. Big Bill.
Here he comes.
Block, but at what cost? At what cost? Willie Mack is gone from TV, but at what cost?
Apparently his fucking mortgage. That was the cost.
Mortgage. That's the cost right there. He's out the fucking window. Well, you know he's being used by Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Russo's booking him as a tag team champion.
I'm sure that's going to go well.
And he's probably making a couple hot dogs and a case of Budweiser over there at Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Like I said earlier, we're going to get the AEW show right now. That's what we're going to get into. Are you ready?
I got one more piece
for this.
I got a quick piece of business for you right now. WWE Hall of Famer is going to wrestle his final match on April 25th. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
The Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant at age 83 years old is going to wrestle his final match on April 25th. Yes. It's going to be a glass top coffee table and a pole match.
Why are you like this?
What?
So let's talk about the AEW Dynamite show last night because I put out a tweet.
We're just skirting. Yeah, Jimmy Valiant and the last match just fucks right off. It just fucks.
I'm not talking about an 80-something-year-old man having a cardiac arrest match.
At what cost?
Pacemaker on a pole
match. At what cost? I went to Waffle House the other day. I went to Waffle House the other day. I wanted to know if I could get my eggs Jimmy Valiant style. She just looked at me. Go ahead.
I put out a tweet last night, and I said this is the greatest AEW show they've ever done. I'm thoroughly impressed, and put an AEW banner up. And then Johnny Bottles calls me about an hour later, and I tell him what I've done. And he said, how's the show going? I said, Bottles, it's the greatest show I've ever seen them do. It's really been something. You're full of shit. I said, no, man, I put a tweet out about it. People can't believe I put it out there. Bottles is beside himself. He just are we watching the same show?
I thought he hit the bottom of the bottle of Buffalo Trace. I thought he just chugged it all. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
He said, did you drink the whole bottle in the first 15 minutes of this show? I said, no. But I did smoke crack at a Holiday Inn. No, I didn't say that. I said, Bottles, go ask your wife what day it is. She says, it's April 1st. Why? I said, Bottles, what does that mean? Oh, you son of a bitch, you got me. April Fools. I got Denisha.
Son of a bitch.
I got a bunch of people with that. So, Denisha, thank you for being a good sport.
You're a hateful man. Just a
I
hateful,
thought it was a good
hateful
one.
man.
I was saving that in my bucket all
Just
day
a
before I did that.
hateful man.
Was saving it all day.
What was that? You took it down.
It says super sticker.
JMB Buscott 192. I know I butchered your name, my friend, my Canadian friend, for a 5 spot. Super sticker. You bought a super
I
sticker?
am unaware of this.
Are we selling
I don't
super
know.
stickers? I don't know.
I don't know. But
Do
if
we
you
have
got a
those
comment,
available?
come back to us. We'll throw it up here, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know what a super sticker is.
Anyway, we already talked about the Tony Schiavone debacle that was in the damn ring that we didn't understand about. Thank you again, Denisha, for the $49.99.
Why did it? Let's look at this show on a granular level. Why do we need Tony Schiavone in the ring?
I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. But you know who wasn't on this show?
Swerve Strickland.
Because of fat-ass Mark Davis?
Oh, Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher's in a walking boot, folks, from Collision.
Because he was tag teaming.
Literally, Mark Davis's ass landed on Kyle Fletcher while they were doing a power move to another group they were wrestling and sent his foot directly into the ground, toe first, knee facing the wrong way.
Twisted that leg up, and they were former tag team partners, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, Aussie Open was the name of their tag team, 2 Australian gentlemen. And Kyle Fletcher's really toned up and shredded, and can't cut a promo to save his life, but he's banging Sky Blue. So he must have had some good promo skills with her. Meanwhile, Mark Davis is having promo skills with 4 Papa John's pizzas right about now. For his fat
ass literally took out their youngest star.
Took out the youngest star, the proto star.
Cannot make this shit up.
Just his ass landed right on that man's leg and put him in a walking boot.
It's high ankle sprain is what I hear. If you know anything about a high ankle sprain, it's actually a knee injury.
Really?
Yeah. I have no idea why they call it a high ankle sprain. I'm like, bitch, that's a long way.
Right. Just that ass that destroyed many a Motel 6 toilet has destroyed that man's ankle.
Denisha says she wasn't falling for it. Yes, you did. I saw your reply. All right, so we come back to this show.
Denisha was apoplectic when he told me all that. I couldn't believe it.
This is when I said, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to have a good time laughing at this. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Chris Jericho fucks off. He's leaving the ring, and the camera cuts to the back. And Jon Moxley comes running in like a special eds kid and runs right into the kegs. Like the worst camera shot ever. He's clearly running of his own free will. No one's near him. There's no way this has gotten to him. And he just runs straight into it.
Right into it.
Out of nowhere.
Like a psychopath.
No, I told you how. Like Johnny Knoxville did a show about this guy or a movie. When the fuck did we get ice cream? That was Jon Moxley last night.
Mark K7731 with a $5 spot. When did the injury occur? When the injury occurred, Kyle yelled, "Your dingo killed my baby." He probably did. So Ocean Spray is back there beating on Moxley. Then the Cracker Clan shows up to save him. And security drags Ocean Spray away with fucking Footloose screaming the whole time like a mad woman. Cursing like a sailor the whole time.
Dude.
Cursing like Richard Pryor in a whorehouse.
Dude.
Just going off, like unbelievably going off.
They were cussing so much, it was literally one long beep.
Yes.
Sorry, one long mute. It wasn't even a beat. It just went silent.
And Excalibur, when he came back alive, he said, we have to apologize for the salty language that was being used.
Yeah.
But
when it went quiet like that, I was like, Simon and Garfunkel going to sue somebody.
The Sound of Silence?
There you go.
And in the naked land I saw Footloose's bare feet, whatever. You sing. You're the singer here. Go ahead.
MJF comes out. Then Kenny comes to the ring. And they both signed the contract right away. I was like, this was unsatisfying. Someone needs a Snickers. This just went nowhere fast. And then Kenny snatches the mic.
Dude, you got a guy who can't cut a... He's cutting a promo.
Let me get into the promo because the promo was great.
Which one?
Let me talk about the promo.
Go ahead.
Kenny said someone needs to strike MJF down and make sure he never, ever gets close to the title again. His words, not mine. I was like, is this fucking He-Man? Am I watching a He-Man cartoon?
Is he a video game villain? Someone needs to strike him down.
I will strike you down and smite you. I will smite you.
I will strike you down and jam my fingers in your gluteal cleft.
Oh, MJF starts to talk about, and the crowd starts chanting, shut the fuck up. He says that Kenny is obsessed with winning the belt back, and he knows why. Because his diverticulitis is so bad, his guts could rupture at any time. And he says Kenny is a false idol, and he's going to knock him down. And he's probably better off dead. I was like, that's fucking stiff. Good Lord. And then out of nowhere, Harley Race said, I told that motherfucker.
Leave my diverticulitis alone.
Leave his diverticulitis out of this. It's done nothing to you.
And then Terry Funk said, Vince, my colon's sick. Go ahead.
My colon's sick. I'm telling you, I said, okay. MJF cut a decent promo, not his best work, but I could go with this. That's
Could've
okay.
Been better. But at what cost?
At the cost was 8-Ball came out now to get involved because they start getting each other's faces. You heard me right. 8-Ball comes to the ring. 8-Ball. 8-Ball. The little Karate Kid gimmick.
Because he's from Winnipeg. That's the only reason why.
He gets between them and snatches the mic out of MJF's hands and proceeds to cut the shittiest promo and challenges MJF. It sounded like, I don't even know how to put it. It's a child challenging a man is how it sounds.
But
There's no bass in his voice.
But Don, it was still a better promo than Kenny Omega.
No, you're wrong there because Kenny didn't hit the low point until now. This is what I'll agree with you with what Kenny said next. MJF, I said all that, cuts the shite promo. Kenny takes the mic back and says, oh yeah, MJF? Well, I talked to your doctor too, and your balls are missing. And I was like, scene! It's not going to get any worse. In this scene now. It's not going to get any worse than this.
I looked around the room at 3 dogs that were sitting there. They were all looking at the TV going.
This was like a bad 90s comedy routine that landed on nothing. Oh, yeah? It reminded me of Seinfeld when Costanza says, oh, yeah? Was it Costanza? Yeah. Oh, yeah? The jerk store called,
and they're running out of you.
That's what it reminded me of. I said, holy shit. This is all-time bad.
It was horrendous.
It was horrible.
Absolutely horrendous. It was Kenny Omega's promos are verbal ambient. They're sonic ambient. They'll put you to sleep. They really will.
But
he'll talk a sloth. He will talk a sloth to sleep. He really will.
Please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys are having fun. Guys and gals, hit that like and subscribe. Notifications are open. Let's get to it. So MJF
We're just trying to live here. We're just trying to live.
MJF says, fine, I'll fight you in the main event tonight. And as he walks off the announcers, immediately as he walks off, that match has been made by Tony Khan. I'm being told right now he is 2 feet out of the ring. And they're screaming Tony Khan's already made the match. And then we cut back to the ring. And Kenny Omega and 8-Ball are standing there as the other wrestlers are coming down the ring looking like morons. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Well, Kenny had his gear on. Kenny had his gear on.
Let me finish. Kenny goes to kick the chair that's left in the ring, and it moves 2 inches. Barely moves. And 8-Ball, for some reason, felt he had to take up for Kenny because the chair wouldn't sell, and he goes to kick it and it doesn't move. I said, what the fuck are we doing here?
They're using working kicks, trying to kick the chair. Like they're kicking a person.
That chair had a Hulk Hogan segment. This doesn't work for me, brother. That chair barely moved.
That chair had a family.
Oh, my God, dude.
That chair had a family.
I was laughing so hard when this shit happened. I had tears running down my eyes. I said, I don't deserve this nonsense, and it's so golden. If you get a chance, go back and just watch Kenny kick the chair. It's the funniest shit you'll ever see.
When he came out to the ring in his gear, I said they're going to have this guy do this contract signing and cut a promo and go right into a match. And they did.
Okay. I didn't know this was coming because out comes Ping Pong and the Damned. Then Brody King comes out. And I'm like, what's going on? And
It's
then
just a
Jack
random
Perry
match.
comes out.
A
Random
random match. You got a guy who supposedly has diverticulitis so bad, diverticulitis, if he eats a burrito from 7-Eleven, he's going to explode like an IED.
But we're going to have this match.
We're going to have this random match with these two Samoan goofs and Ping Pong and the big tub of goo and little Jack Perry. Because for reasons. For reasons. And Jobber Nation on Twitter posted when this was taking place, what is Kenny Omega doing in this random-ass match?
I still can't understand any of this.
And
I felt like I felt, honest to God, like Captain Kirk should come into the scene at that point in time. What's going on here? This doesn't make sense.
Why is Kenny Omega in this match? Spock,
What the-
help me, Spock.
And then, of course, when this match goes on, it's your typical match. And you see the same thing every week in these shows. And I'm not going to sit here and have somebody tell me this was a banger. They did the same 6-man suplex that they've done for like the last 3 6-man matches that they've had, where all 3 guys line up and 3 guys go over.
And no dicks were bitten
No
in
dick
the portrayal of this match. But I will ask you one question,
basements
Don.
were sad.
Let me ask you this question, Don. Where was the man who wrestled Kenny Omega last week?
Where is Swerve Strickland?
An epic heel turn for Swerve Strickland the last 2 weeks on AEW Dynamite, AEW programming. No Nana, no Strickland. Last week he wrestled Omega. Didn't look like he was in a good mood wrestling Omega. Didn't look like he wanted to cooperate in some spots. And he had his championship dreams dashed. There we go. Great minds think alike. Dashed by Kenny Omega wanting to challenge MJF. Or Tony Khan wanting Kenny Omega to challenge MJF.
It's weird how he just disappeared. It really is.
I think
Just
from
gone.
all the podcast interviews he's been doing and all the media interviews he's been doing where he praised certain WWE wrestlers and talked about his time when he was in WWE, I think that didn't sit well with somebody in management. And he's didn't Kirk say what was that? The Wrath of
Yeah.
Yes. That could be a great meme. Throwing that right out there to Matzo Balls right now. Matzo Balls from Twitter.
So here
Could
we
be a
go.
great thought. So I want
I wrote
to
this
hear
down.
your theory. I want to hear your theory.
I agree with you. Like, I can't add to that. I don't know why he's suddenly off TV. Because he was off TV for a while because he was injured. Now he's off again. He's supposed to be one of your biggest stars. And I'm getting the same shit on this show every week. And here's the other part about that. We read about this yesterday. We don't talk about it much. Jim Cornette announced this week he will no longer be watching AEW because he's watching the same shit every week and nothing's changing.
Over and over.
And this was a prime example of it. A whole bunch of shit happens. And this is what I wrote down. There are 3 randos that have been teamed together against the Damned and Ping Pong. Shouldn't the team that's actually worked together be getting the upper hand throughout this match? And they be talking about how, well, they've worked together. They've got the upper hand because they're actual teammates. No, Kenny Omega and the Randos won. That's how this is going to end. The Randos won.
2 big guys, like the guys in
They are big bastards.
They are big Samoans. If they were in another company, I'm not going to mention the other company. If they were in another company, they'd be pushed to the moon. As big as
because
they
they're
are.
massive and they can work, it looks like.
And they can work. Yes.
Willow backstage, and she's promoting the special Collision show that's tonight. So good for her.
Featuring, by the way, have you heard about what's on Collision tonight?
These nuts.
2 people that have been gone from 2 people, you son of a bitch. 2 people that have been gone from AEW Dynamite and AEW broadcasting.
These nuts.
I was looking for that, but I found it too late. But anyway, Mercedes
coming
Moné
back?
returns on Collision tonight.
Oh, the storyline that you and I have been talking about. That why have you not been featuring this every week in some sort of a little 2-minute segment on your show, even if it's just a clip? Why have you done nothing? You built this storyline for a year and a half with Renee or with Mercedes Moné, and the last 8 months, 7 months, 6 months, whatever it is, she's been off TV losing these belts, and you've tracked none of it. None of it.
Japanese talent Hikaru Shida, who has been signed to AEW and off TV. She's got her visa problems all worked out. Over the last 8 months, her visa problems from Japan have been all taken care of. She's been home streaming on Twitch playing video games. That's what she's been doing, and collecting
That's
a
a special
paycheck from
return?
AEW.
Okay.
She's
I won't be
that's another return. I won't be watching either, but yeah. One belt Moné
Renee-
now. One belt.
Renee Baguette is backstage, and she's talking about what's going on. And this was the best part of this show, by far. Adam Copeland and Cage come in, and they're carrying chairs. And Cope says they're going to take out anyone that gets in their way. And as he says this, Christian Cage picks up his chair like he's about to whack the piss out of Renee Baguette. And Copeland goes, "What are you doing?" and it's just great. Cage looks at him like, "What?" He's like, "Come on." And as they're walking away, Copeland says, "Renee Baguette's in our way. Are you serious?" And they walk away. It was hilarious. This was the best part of the show.
I was just going to say that. The best part of the show.
This was exactly what this show needed. Entertainment.
Right. And it's hard to say that about an Adam Copeland segment.
Right.
But, yeah.
This
But it was
felt
funny.
like Edge. This felt like Edge from like the mid-2000s coming back and finding himself again.
When he gives up wrestling, they should have him as a commentator.
Oh, I agree. I think he could do that.
Have him as a commentator, or have Christian Cage as a commentator. It would be amazing.
He said, "Renee Baguette's in our way. Are you serious?" I just thought it was great. So they go kicking in FTR's locker room. It's not FTR. It's two guys I don't give a shit about. And they say, "Well, they're going to be here tomorrow for Collision. Can we give them a message?" And of course, they kick the shit out of them. And they say, "Tell them we said that." And as they walk away, Christian Cage comes running back in out of frame, literally at a full sprint, and whacks one of them again and runs away. It was fucking hilarious. This was the best part of this show by far.
Christian Cage is making up for all that time he missed from TV while waiting for Adam Copeland to come back.
Right. And then I said, oh. Out comes Lil Pac, and Lil Pac's going to fight Ocean Spray.
Yes.
Lil Pac jumps Ocean Spray and gives him a brain buster. No one can do a brain buster anymore, by the way. Have you noticed this? No one can do a correct brain buster anymore.
No.
They have no idea how to do it. And they have this match, and the entire match is Ocean Spray selling his neck. Is this where we're going to be for the rest of his career? Kenny Omega's going to sell lizard guts, and he's going to sell fish neck? Is that what we're going to have here? Because this was the whole fucking thing.
In perpetuity. In perpetuity. The fish guts, the lizard guts, whatever you called it, and Ocean Spray's neck. In perpetuity. He didn't get a neck fusion, by the way, folks. He just got a plate put in, a couple bolts. That was it. Not a fusion. Not like Adam Copeland did or Kurt Angle. That's a year off. That's
Lizard guts and fish neck.
Lizard guts. What do you got good to eat in there? Lizard
Ocean
guts.
Spray wins. Pac jumps him after the bout. And the commentator goes, Ocean Spray won, but at what cost? I said, they're going to do this now. This is the new thing.
If the AEW marketing department does not print at what cost T-shirts, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
The Cracker Clan beats on Ocean Spray. Fucking Footloose hands Moxley a mic. And Moxley says, don't make this personal. As he's laid him out with a chair around his neck. Don't make this personal.
Have you noticed that Pac has been wearing pants since he came back?
Yes, I have.
From his umpteenth injury.
Because he missed leg day.
But he's probably got braces on. That's probably what the deal is. He's trying to hide the braces.
Bro! Don't make this personal.
Awful. Just
and
awful.
Ocean Spray said, if I do, what will it cost me?
At what cost?
God, I said it's not going to get better. I was right because we get a woman 6-way, and I'm not getting into this because they came out with, I don't know who it was, some Pornhub girl, the Tickler, and Julia Hart.
The Sister of Sin. The Sisters of Sin.
Tits
Sky
McGee,
Blue.
Alec Windsor. I don't care.
The Brawlin' Birds.
Hater
and
wins.
Tits McGee versus the Sisters of Sin. Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Tickler. Pornhub girl, you said. That Sky Blue's
I don't know.
girl.
I saw more ass
Sky
than
Blue
wrestling.
is the Pornhub girl. I thought there was a new bakery in town with all the cake that was flying around.
I saw more ass than wrestling. That's all.
Oh my God in heaven! What the hell is going on?
Darby Allin
Do you
comes
know?
out.
Do you know how many of the
You
neckbeards do
ought
you
to
think?
know.
How many of the neckbeards do you think went into some apoplectic?
I'm not
shock?
even thinking about this. I'm not thinking
No?
about this.
I
No.
guarantee you they couldn't find the remotes for.
I can just tell you that the local CVS here is out of fucking Jergen, so I had to go all the way to Food Line today. I've got ashy skin, pal. Keep a bottle at my desk, and I was out.
Ashy skin. The neckbeards have assy skin.
They
Go
have
ahead.
something.
They've got something. Pal.
Darby Allin comes out and calls out MJF, so I guess we know we're going after this.
How many people are feuding with MJF at one time?
Apparently the whole company.
The whole company is.
He
How many
says he's
people are feuding
tired.
with Swerve Strickland?
Nobody.
Hello? 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 Swerve? Hello? Nana? Nana?
None of your business.
Where's my Nana?
Anyway, he says he's tired of the Callis family. Callis comes out and says Allin will face Andrade, who looks shocked. Oh, why am I going to have to face him? I don't even want to be here.
I want the belt.
I want the belt so I can beat the OnlyFans whores. They keep coming after me.
I don't even want to be here, but I'm here because my whore ex-wife talked bad about me.
So then we get the Callis family coming down to kick the shit out of Allin. And then a big schmoz happens because Brody King and Jack Perry come out for some reason. I don't know what. None of this made any sense.
None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. He's probably back there going, you go. What? Just go. Run through
Why
the
am
curtain.
I going? Didn't
to
he
the
and I
ring.
just have a feud like 3 months ago? Okay.
Run to the ring. I just had an 8-ball.
No, he's out next.
I drank 12 White Claws. Run to the fucking ring.
This is when this whole thing is ending, by the way.
Yes.
Kenny Omega starts strutting down to the ring.
I saw that.
In sweat shorts, no shirt, and flip flops, or I think it was flip flops. Might have been tennis shoes. And hold on,
Hey.
let me finish. And I'm thinking, what the fuck
Cruise-
is Kenny Omega coming back down again for?
He's all over the show. Every segment. Kenny Omega's in every segment. He was getting ready to run in to save Renee Paquette from being hit with the chair by Christian Cage.
Folks, this is when it's going to get so good. So sit down and hold on. He's going to do color commentary for the MJF 8-ball match. That's what he's doing. Which, by the way, this match went way too long. MJF sold way too much. None of this shit made sense. I don't like where they're going with this. Stop making MJF look like the weakest champion you've ever had. But that's not the part that made me laugh.
Stop
The part
making
that made me
8-ball
laugh-
look like a superstar where he can beat anybody.
Yes. What made me laugh, and folks, I want you to put this visual in your head. You've got the mask goof who looks like an idiot, but at least he's in a suit. You've got the English dude who's dressed in a sweater or something nice. You got Tony Schiavone who's trying to hold his toupee in place wearing a tie and sports jacket. And they go to Kenny Omega, who's sitting there without a fucking shirt
on.
in sweatshirt and sweat shorts. Looking, I swear, dude. I don't, Tinder Grinder, I think that's what he was going for here.
He's all fucked up. I'm telling you. I've told you every week. He is all fucked up. He's high as a kite.
He's
high
sitting
as
there
a fucking kite.
without a shirt on doing color. What are we doing here?
I'm just telling you, my opinion is he's high as a fucking kite. Every time you see him on TV, he knows he's on his way out. And
That's your opinion, by the way.
That's my opinion, by the way.
I don't think you're right at all. I think he's that clueless. I just think he's that clueless.
No. With those promos?
The
Some
promos,
of the times we saw him in the ring talking. That one time where he looked like he hadn't shaved in like 2 weeks and his hair was all greasy. He had a big sweat stain or a coffee stain going down in front of his cut-off sweatshirt with the sleeves cut off.
He walked down to the ring without a shirt and sweat shorts to do a play-by-play with the commentator team. Even Steve Austin at least had a vest on and blue jeans when he was in character and he was going to do stuff like that. Bret Hart had his jacket.
He made Tony Schiavone sound like Anthony Hopkins.
I was just waiting for him to start pouring maple syrup on his body and start putting out his Twitter accounts. DM me if you want to talk later. I'm going to play games.
Was he a grinder?
That's what I said.
Who the hell knows?
It was weird, dude. That was a weird vibe. That was the weirdest thing I can remember seeing on wrestling in a long time.
Meet me at the Motel 6
It was
with my friend Jimmy Valiant. I'll meet you under the coffee table.
It was the most distracting thing I've seen on a wrestling show in some time.
I wish these announce tables were glass topped. That way someone can shit on top of these tabletops.
And you see people wrestle all the time in shorts and trunks. That's not what's different. When you see a dude just sitting there in the middle of a standing arena, just sitting there.
With his eyes half closed.
With no clothes on. Just
and
like
talking softly like this with no
no
enthusiasm about what's going on in the ring whatsoever.
No, that MJF sure is a tough guy. He's a really good champion, but I think I can beat him.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat MJF.
We're right here in 8-Ball Mike Bailey's hometown. I heard 8-Ball Mike Bailey likes to make brownies in his spare time, and he's a stonemason on the side by trade. Have you heard about that?
I didn't know if you noticed this or not, but when I saw this, I was like, this is distracting as shit now, man. This is weird. This is weird. LA Knight comes down. He's either got a vest or a T-shirt on when he's going to do play-by-play.
Right. And he's not doing commentary like he's at
And
NPR.
he's got on sunglasses.
And he's not doing commentary like he's an NPR DJ.
This was unbelievable.
Horrible. I was encouraged in my mind, encouraging Tony Schiavone to talk over top of him, like he did to Ian Riccaboni that week.
Anyway, MJF won after a very long match that shouldn't have happened.
No.
And then he went to jump him afterwards, and in came Kenny Omega, fit for battle.
The best thing you could say about that MJF match is the fact that he can work with anybody.
Oh, he can. And
Yes.
he also, 8-Ball kind of screwed himself when he went to give him his inverted backbreaker, because I believe frickin' 8-Ball was trying to take a power bomb and went and landed on his back neck. I was like, no, buddy, Go with the move. Don't fight it.
I believe 8-Ball was trying to take a power bottom. That's what I think he was trying to take.
Kenny Omega got in the ring and yelled, "Oh, you can!"
Was he
I wanna
dressed like a
thank everybody.
Japanese schoolgirl?
I'm getting out of here. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Hit that notifications button.
Don, it's 8:20. I'm fed up and tired.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.